Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram,
Ram Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Nitai Gaur Premanande.
Hare Krishna, your devotees. It's my great honor and privilege to welcome His Holiness Prabhupada Maharaj. Let's give him a big, warm welcome. Hari Bo. Maharaj had a late night preaching program yesterday, and we're very grateful for him making the quick turnaround and coming here this morning. He's also traveling today, catching his flight out of Dallas. So thank you very much, Maharaj, for making the time to come. Maharaj is a senior disciple of Srila Prabhupada in our movement and an initiating spiritual master. And he travels and preaches and was part of the GBC for many, many years. And we're just very grateful that he's come and given us his association. And let's all please give him our undivided attention. And yeah, thank you so much. Give him one more big welcome. Hari Bo.
Jaya Radha Madhava Kunjavi Hare Radha Madhava Kunjam Jaya Radha Madhava Kunjavi Hare Kunjavi Gopijana Ballabha Girivadadhadi Gopijana Ballabha Girivadadhadi Girivadadhadi Jasodanandana Brajajanaranjana Jasodanandana Brajajanaranjana Jamuna Tiravana Chadi Jamuna Tiravana Chadi Jaya Radha Madhava Kunjami Hadi Jaya Radha Madhava Kunjavi Hadi Gopijana Ballabha Girivadadhadi Gopijana Ballabha Girivadadhadi Jasodanandana Brajajanaranjana Jasodanandana Brajajanaranjana Jamuna Tiravana Chadi Jamuna Tiravana Chadi Jaya Radha Madhava Kunjavi Hare Jaya Radha Madhava Kunjabi Hadi. Jaya Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivitagacharya Astatara Satasi Srimad His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Ananta Koti Vaishnavrinda Ki Gaur Premanandi. Been a while since I've been here, but there's the same place. Same deities, same B.G. Sharma paintings on the wall, and the speakers facing this picture of Vrindavan, Krishna Balaram Mandir. Some things change. And my understanding is that we're supposed to cover a few verses, focus on the final of the few verses. Canto 1, Chapter 2. So how are we going to do this? We'll chant the verse 34, and then we'll go back and read the other verses. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Bhavaya Bhavatyat Esha Satvena Lokan Vai Loka Bhavanaha Lilavatara Nurato Devatiryan Naradishu Bhavayat Yesha Satvena Lokan Vai Loka Bhavanaha Lilavatara Nurato Devatiryan Naradishu Bhavatyat Yesha Satvena Lokan Vai Loka Bhavanaha Ilavatana Nurato Devatiryan Radashu Bhavatyat Yesha Satvena Lokan Vai Bhavanaha Avatar Narato Avatyat Yesha Satvena Lokan Vai Loka Bhavanaha Ilavatara Narato Bhavayati maintains Eshaha all these Satvena in the mode of goodness Lokan all over the universe by generally Loka Bhavanaha the master of all the universes Leela pastimes Avatara, incarnation. Anurataha, assuming the role. Deva, the demigods. Tiryak, lower animals. Nara Adishu, in the midst of human beings. Translation, thus, the Lord of the universes maintains all planets inhabited by demigods, men, and lower animals. Assuming the roles of incarnations, he performs pastimes to reclaim those in the mode of pure goodness. I think I'm going to read the purport next, and then we'll go back. There are innumerable material universes, and in each and every universe, there are innumerable planets inhabited by different grades of living entities in different modes of nature. The Lord Vishnu incarnates himself in each and every one of them, and in each and every type of living society. He manifests his transcendental pastimes amongst them just to create the desire to go back to Godhead. The Lord does not change his original transcendental position, but he appears to be differently manifested according to the particular time, circumstances, and society. Paragraph. Sometimes he incarnates himself or empowers a suitable living entity to act for him, but in either case, the purpose is the same, which is the Lord wants the suffering living being to go back home, back to Godhead. The happiness which the living beings are hankering for is not to be found within any corner of the innumerable universes and material planets. The eternal happiness which the living being wants is obtainable in the kingdom of God, but the forgetful living beings under the influence of the material modes have no information of the kingdom of God. The Lord therefore comes to propagate the message of the kingdom of God, either personally or as an incarnation, either personally as an incarnation or through his bona fide representative as the good Son of God. Such incarnations or sons of God are not making propaganda for going back to Godhead only within the human society. Their work is also going on in all types of society amongst the demigods and those other than human beings. He's busy. That's a lot of living entities, a lot of species, and a lot of incarnations, and a lot of preaching, and a lot of recruiting. Before I'm going to go back and read the verses, and then I'll say a couple things I hope you'll appreciate. Go back to text 30, translation. In the beginning of the material creation, that absolute personality of Godhead, Vasudeva, in his transcendental position, created the energies of cause and effect by his own internal energy. I mean, that you could spend some time just on what that means. The Lord's energies are eternal. The material energies, they're also eternal, sometimes manifest, sometimes manifest. So this is describing their being manifest, cause and effect. Cause and effect on the material side. And then because there's the cause of all causes, and the cause of all causes has his spiritual potency, and from the reflection of the spiritual potency comes the material potency. There's a lot to say about that message, and the Bhagavatam does say a lot about that message. There's one way of describing these first 3 chapters of Srimad Bhagavatam is the essence of Srimad Bhagavatam is in these first 3 chapters. And then the rest of the Srimad Bhagavatam is expanding and expanding and expanding. So if you can understand these first 3 chapters, you got the Bhagavatam in your hand. Most of us don't, and it gives us, it points us in the direction, but then the direction can lead to further questions, further questions, further questions. A thoughtful listener does that. Further questions, further questions, further questions. There's, for example, Bhagavad Gita is undergraduate study. Bhagavatam is graduate study. Anything that's in Bhagavatam is in Bhagavad Gita, but it's undergraduate study level, and then graduate, and then there's further explanations and further explanations and further explanations. In the morning classes, we've been reading Uddhava Gita, and similar to Arjuna, it's not that Arjuna doesn't know. He's a pure devotee, and by devotion, people know, but he wants to hear. And there's so many examples. So he asked questions. Arjuna asked questions. And the answers are non-different than the answers that Krishna gives to Uddhava, but Uddhava asks more, and then he asks more, and then he asks more on the same topic. So then Krishna supplies more. And that's the way of transcendental knowledge. Have you noticed? I've noticed. You take any topic and you go deeper and go deeper and you go deeper and you go deeper and you realize there's no bottom. You go deeper and you go deeper and you go deeper. It's an ocean that doesn't have a bottom. That's big. And that's transcendence. So one can give synopsis, which is what these first 3 chapters are. And there's other ways of saying a synopsis of the Bhagavatam is in those 4 verses and so forth. The realization of Vyas and Samadhi is a synopsis. So there are different ways of making something that's comprehensive, very simple. And then you can start unpacking something that's very simple. So just here, just this text 30, it's that kind of a verse. So there's a source. There's a source of everything. That source of everything is the absolute truth, is the source of everything. And that absolute truth is a person. And that person reciprocates with the desires of the living entities in the spiritual world, and reciprocates with the desires of living entities that don't want to be with a subordinate relationship with the Supreme Lord. They want something other, a misuse of free will situation. And so the Lord reciprocates. And this is describing that reciprocation. It's, in a nutshell, it's the process of creation. And then periodically, there's creation, maintenance, and destruction. And then resting, and then creation, maintenance. It's just cyclical, keeps going on. So this is one of those cycles. And from the spiritual potency of the Supreme Lord, the cause and effect of the material world is generated. But so again, the cause and effect of the material world is resting upon the spiritual energy. It's incomplete to understand cause and effect without understanding the cause of that cause and effect. Technology, the push and pull of the material world. And people study and study and study and study, and they know how to make the push and pull. They know the cause and the effect, but they don't know the cause of the cause and effect. And that's theism. And so this is theism narrating the material dimension of creation, the cause and effect. And the Sanskrit words that are used for cause and effect are sat and asat. Sat and asat. Sat and asat are used in different ways in different places in Scripture, in Bhagavad Gita. Sat asat yoni janmasu, the living entities are the cause of their happiness and distress, their good fortune, ill fortune. That's another. So they're different Sanskrit terms. To understand them, you need an acharya, because words have different meanings in different contexts. So we have our founder acharya giving us the meaning here is the cause and effect, energies. And material creation is about to unfold under his supervision. Text 31. After creating the material substance, the Lord Vasudeva expands himself and enters into it. That was pretty quick, because the manifesting of the material substance, there's many stages. Read third canto and second canto and third canto. There's whole long sections. But this is just a summary. And it's nothing wrong with a summary because it's just a summary. But it's describing, it's illuminating principles of where we are and how we got here. After creating the material substance, the Lord Vasudeva expands himself and enters into it. And although he is within the material modes of nature and appears to be one of the created beings, he is actually fully enlightened in his transcendental position. So at every stage of the Leela, because that's in the verse that we just read, the pastimes of the Lord, that the creation is also Leela. It's of his material, it's exhibiting his material energy in such and such a way. And then he appears within that which he has created in such and such a way. And the important message is, from the get-go, from the very beginning of his appearance. And he can appear as if the sun, or he can just, voila, just make some appearance and come out of a pillar. It doesn't need any methodology. He can appear however he likes, and he does whatever he likes. Such a sankalpa shakti, he just desires. And so from the very beginning, in his appearance, just take vraha or kurma, or the forms other than the human form, fully cognizant. Or like Krishna's pastimes and one of the charm, or Ramchandra's pastimes, both, that the charm of appearing to be of us, one of us. Then some people think he's one of us because he appears like one of us. But when he does leelas that exhibit his divinity, then the materialists are puzzled. It's fancy, it's fairy tale, it's allegorical, it's not true. Only weak-minded people will go for this stuff. And they have different ways of looking at that which is fully transcendental. And our Vaishnava perspective, on the authority of the Bhagavatam, he is always fully enlightened in his transcendental position. Always. We were discussing, for example, A really nice for example. For example, the Aghasura demon. And, you know, the beginning part of chapter 12 of Canto 10, the Krita Punya Punja verse comes. The playfulness of these cowherd boys. And he's the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He knows he's the Supreme Personality of Godhead. They don't know he's the Supreme Personality of Godhead. They're just playing with him. And the privilege of getting to play, not just worship on the altar, but play. And very frolicsome, and playful, and this and that, and the other, and the other, and the other. It's so charming. Our acharyas describe it as the madhurya feature of Brajalila. It's very sweet. It's sweeter than sweet. And it's just, and then all of that mood is established, and here's this 8-mile long python. 8 miles is a big distance. The guy's really big. Now, before he assumed he has mystic power, he was in a human-like form, as was his brother and sister. His sister was Putana. She had a human-like form. She was a witch, so she could assume other forms, like, a beautiful, 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 so beautiful woman that they thought she was the goddess of fortune, and let her right in to try to kill Krishna. Anyway, in Bakasura, a human-like form. So here's this python, 8 miles long, and the cowherd boys are in such a playful mood. And what's this? Must be a play toy. Let's go play. That's their mood. And supposing it's a demon that wants to kill us, Krishna will take care of him. If that's the case, let's go. And so they start to enter the calves and the cow, because the calves just tag along and follow. They love the cowherd boys. The cowherd boys love the calves, and they don't herd the calves. They just tag along with the cowherd boys. So off they go into the mouth of Aghasura. They're very nice description. Very nice description. 3 times. Very nice description. Krishna didn't want them to enter the mouth of Aghasura, but they entered the mouth of Aghasura. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. He wants something and it doesn't happen? He wants something to not happen and it happens? Wait a minute. Is he the supreme or is he not the supreme? What's going on? Because the source of everything is the source of everything. And he just desires and it happens, right? That's how it happens. His energies, that's the previous verse. His energies make it happen. He doesn't lift a pinky. I mean, he lifts Govardhan Hill, but he could lift Govardhan Hill without lifting Govardhan Hill. It's a pastime. So it's a pastime. The cowherd boys enter the mouth of Aghasura, and he doesn't want it to happen. So there's lengthy discussion by our acharyas, and it goes like this. Very simple solution. The Lord has spiritual potencies. Swarup Shakti. Spiritual potency. His own. Swarupa Shakti. His own spiritual potencies. And the spiritual potencies are 3 in number. And then subcategories of those 3. Unlimited. Shri, Bhu, and Nila or Lila. Nila and Nila are used interchangeably. So his Lila Shakti considers, let's give Krishna the opportunity to have a secondary rasa feeling of astonishment. And so she, the Lord's Lila Shakti, to facilitate nourishing the Lord's emotion, Krishna can't speak. And the cowherd boys enter the mouth of Aghasura demon. And they're inseparable, the cowherd boys and Krishna the cowherd boys. So how can they be separated? They can't be separated. They cannot be separated. But it looks like they're being separated, this Leela Shakti. So that to facilitate, nourish, Krishna is experiencing a secondary rasa, a very special emotion. And then Leela Shakti shifts, and then Krishna knows what to do, and Krishna enters the mouth of Aghasura, and the rest of the story. But the previous verse was speaking the sad asad, the cause and effect of material creation, and this resting upon the spiritual potency of Krishna. And he's the controller of everything. And even when it looks like he's not the controller of everything, he's the controller of everything. Because things are happening by his potency. He's the Supreme. And the Supreme has unlimited potency. And by his potency, things happen. So it includes, he enters into different species of life. He enters into the different species of life that he manifests with his cause and effect potency. And he appears to be amongst them, but he's not infected or affected as they are, because he's the Supreme. But he enters, and what's he doing? We read, he wants them to come back. He doesn't want them to struggle and suffer and think that there's happiness when you're in a desert and there's no happiness. Text 33. No, text 32. The Lord, as super soul, pervades all things. Then comes a metaphor. Just like fire permeates wood. Now, how does that happen? How does fire, because wood is a different element, it's earth. But within earth, there's fire. So within wood, there's fire. Because it's the subtler element. Before there's gross matter or gross earth, there's fire. So there's fire within earth. And as there's fire within earth, there's the super soul within every living being. Because the living beings come from him. He's the subtle source of all living beings, and here comes the living beings, and he is within them. A priori. That's verse 32. And so he appears to be of many varieties, although he is the absolute one without a second. This is contradiction. Is he this or is he that? Is he one or is he many? Well, he's one and many. Oh, come on. It's either this or that. Which is it? Both. How is that possible? Inconceivable potencies. Oh, you Hare Krishna guys. You just do some double talk and everything, you smile and everything is fine for you. If it's this, it's not that. If it's that, it's not this. How can it be this and that? Inconceivable potencies. So he enters within everything. He manifests everything. He enters within everything in various species, and he's not contaminated by the modes of nature and the things that living entities are contaminated by. No problem. And then, although he's one, he's diverse. He has the capacity, and so he does, upon circumstance. He expands himself unlimitedly in equal forms and different forms. And he's not diminished. Om Purnamadak Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate, etc. He's not diminished by his expanding. And each of those expansions are him. And not him, because he is the source, and they're not all the source, they're from the source. But equal. but not the original source. So the Bhagavatam is disclosing there is the original source, and that original source is Krishna. Swayam Bhagavan Krishna. That's chapter 3. We didn't get there yet. That was verse number 32. 33, the super soul, like Superman. Super soul enters into the bodies of the created beings who, now he's manifested forms, now he's doing another Paramatma feature of expansion, into the bodies of the created beings who are influenced by the modes of material, not just influenced by, completely controlled by the modes of material nature, and causes them, that's the living entities that he's entered into the hearts of, to enjoy the effects of these modes by the subtle mind. I mean, this is, in Sankhya philosophy, this is detailed and makes your head spin. There's so much detail. But don't worry, go to the third canto and you can get your head spinned. You can understand, unpack the statement that's here. But the happiness and distress is within the mind. It's good to remember next time you're feeling some distress. It's in the mind. It's the perception within the mind. The senses send signals to the mind. The mind reads, this is pleasure or this is misery. You know, one man's food is another man's poison. So for one person it's happiness, another person is distress. So that the happiness and distress is within the mind. So he creates the mind and he creates the happiness and distress within the mind. But it's just a perception. It's not reality. There is a reality. The reality is covered by the creation and the misidentification with the features of creation, the objects, and the perception of those objects. It's all Maya, covering reality. But that was described a little bit earlier. From the spiritual comes the cause and effect, and then comes the cause and effect, comes stuff. Then he enters into the region of stuff, and he enters into the heart of all living entities, causing them, inspiring them to enjoy or suffer according to how the mind reads the experience. And then this morning's verse, the final verse, thus the Lord of the universes maintains all planets inhabited by demigods, men, and lower animals, assuming the roles of incarnations. So we're just going quickly. There's the source. There's the creation. He enters as an incarnation within creation. He enters within the living entities within creation as a Paramatma feature. You know, it's like all very quick, this quick summary. And then finally, he performed pastimes to reclaim those in the mode of goodness. So not too many people are in the mode of goodness. So too bad for those that aren't in the mode of goodness. But by his presence, they can be elevated to the mode of goodness. But they have, a few things they have to accept. Some restrictions, some injunctions and prohibitions, some do's and do nots. And if you don't like it, you can stay in the modes of nature, and that's okay. And if you want to become free from the lower modes of nature, if you want out of jail, you have to be, be good. And then you can get your jail sentence lightened. So it's like that, Prabhupada describes, it's like that, the governor can enter into a prison and he doesn't become a prisoner because he entered into the prison, and he can grant pardon to anyone in the prison. He has that authority. So those that are in the mode of goodness prisoners, they get pardoned. They can get pardoned. Then it's up to the governor to decide yes or no or maybe and set conditions. So the personality of God is not cruel. People got what they wanted. They didn't want misery, but they got the lure of enjoyment. And so go ahead. The advice is please don't. But stubborn obstinacy that I'm going there anyways. It's like a child and demanding something from their parents, and the parents say no, and the child demands and throws a tantrum and says okay, but at your risk. So that's a little summary of the concluding parts of Chapter 2, Canto 1. The beginning of Canto 1, Chapter 2, is a very wonderful description of the process of bhakti and the unfolding of the Bhakti Sandarbha is resting on those verses. The stages of bhakti. There's details and details and details further in Bhakti Sandarbha that come from other places, but how bhakti unfolds is right in this second chapter. A nice section. Very powerful section. A little sharing. When I arrived in Dallas, I went to the baggage claim. They took forever to get the bags delivered from baggage claim. It was pretty unusual, really long wait. And when I saw one of the first ones there, and there was some gentleman at baggage claim around shortly after that I got there, and dressed very nicely and man of stature, and he smiled, and I thought, And then I got involved with somebody that came to pick me up because they were there at the baggage claim. So he kind of backed off. And then the bag came, and so off we go to the car, and he said, with the same smile, "You going to Kalachandji's?" And I thought, gosh, you guys are doing some good stuff. I mean, to get here isn't easy. It's not like some other places that are a little easier. But it's okay. It is what it is. And the history is what the history is. And he didn't know me from, but, you going to Kalachandji's? So I said, you see this man here? He's taking me to Kalachandji's. He smiled. So keep going. And then this past weekend, there was a nice retreat. I know some of you here know about it. And Kalachandji's was the supplier of the prasadam, and people really liked the prasadam. And there was a nice arrangement, so it was without all the detail. The host, one of the difficulties, it's a detail, one of the difficulties in arranging retreats is people that have facilities, they don't let you cook. You have to cook. You have to buy their stuff. And even they can cook vegetarian. We don't have people cook for us. We cook ourselves for reasons. And so they found a place. But they have a kitchen, but they don't have cooks. So an arrangement was made that Kalachandji supplied the prasadam, and the people that owned the facility, they received a discount. They gave us a discount so that when they have functions, they can come to Kalachandji's and get a discount. So it was like a win-win, triple win. I know, so it's, thanks for being here, Prabhus. And, serving, because getting the prasadam cooked by the devotees and offered to Kalachandji and distributed out there, doing this and that, it means something. Who knows, who can weigh the spiritual benefit that people that take, like that fellow that greeted me at the baggage claim. Who knows? But it's an eternal asset. And his speaking good words about Kalachandji's is for his benefit also. And the people that hear his good word and invite them to come and come with them or something. It's the dark age of Kali, and it's the dark. It's nasty. Paint it and perfume it, and make it look nice, but it's not nice. And to do something that's transcendental in the midst of it's not nice, and staying with it for so many years. Again, thank you and congratulations for that stick-to-itiveness. Of course, Tamal Krishna Maharaj is the one who has established this and built it and so forth and so on. His legacy is continuing. And, keep going. And keep going eternally. The building isn't going to stay up eternally. Something's going to happen after some point of time. You even repair it and repair it, it's going to... But the deity is here. Radha Kalachandji. So let's see if there's some discussion on these verses from Canto 1, Chapter 2.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, thank you so much for a beautiful lecture. I was wondering, how does Radharani help us to get out of the prison?
How does Radharani help us? She's 50% of the Mahamantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama. She's more than 50%. So can we have access to Krishna without the mercy of Radharani? No. Is she merciful? Yes. And as Krishna's internal, like this description, that Krishna, the Lord incarnates so that people can come back to Him. So she's the spiritual, she's the Shakti, the pleasure potency of the Supreme Lord, to assist us to find happiness instead of misery. It's an essential role in restoring original Krishna consciousness.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. I have two questions.
Two questions.
So the
one
first,
at a time.
One at a time. Yes, Maharaj. So the first question is based on the purport here. Vyasadeva here says that the Lord reclaims the people in the mode of pure goodness. And then in the purport, Srila Prabhupada, he expands this a little bit more. And he says that the Lord, He incarnates in different species and different grades of living entities who are in different modes.
And
so
how are those people going to come to the pure mode of pure goodness? Is that your question?
No, my question
That's
is a
good
little...
question.
Sorry?
That's a good question.
Yes.
Go ahead.
So my question is, we do hear that the human form of life is very rare, and then generally this is from the human form of life gives us the opportunity to go back home, back to Godhead. But here we see that the Lord, He's incarnating even in different species of life which are not human, And here Srila Prabhupada says to give them an opportunity. So is there...
Well, you fast forward. It doesn't say like purification stays with the soul that becomes purified. That's a chance. Doesn't mean they go from a giraffe to, back to Godhead. Doesn't mean that. At least that's not my reading.
Okay.
Purification. Attraction. Purification.
Great. Thank you, Maharaj. Maharaj, the second question, it's been bothering me for quite some time, and I was looking to ask someone.
Swami, I know.
It's from this chapter actually. This famous verse Nashta Prayeshu Abhadreshu, where Srila Prabhupada states, by regular attendance of classes in the Srimad Bhagavatam and by rendering service to the pure devotee, all that which is troublesome to the heart is almost completely destroyed.
Oh, that's easy.
So what is almost like?
That's easy. It's not Prabhupada says, it's Sutta Goswami says. And the almost is just describing the stage of nishtha, because that's right within the verse itself. Nashta prayeshu abhadreshu. So it's a stage. The almost is a stage. It's okay. You send a rocket ship up in the air and you see it, the picture of it taking off. That's not it. Keeps going. But it's there it goes. Nashta prayeshu abhadreshu. Nashta prayeshu is almost. Prayeshu. Prayena payashakshabhya kalavasmin yugejana. The same, root. Almost. A little. Not completely. It's a stage. Okay. You want to keep going on it. Yeah, sure. Give the guy the microphone again.
So the verse says, is almost completely destroyed, and loving devotional service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is praised with transcendental verses, is established as an irrevocable fact.
Yeah.
So, but here you just said it's it's almost, it's until Nishta.
Okay.
So what happens after that? Like, what do we need?
You know what happens after that. What happens after the Nishta stage?
Ruchi. Right, and
Asakti,
Bhava Prema, right.
So it's established that Nishta means no turning back.
Oh.
Now, is it possible to turn back?
No.
Yes.
I mean, yeah.
Supposing one has attained the stage of ruchi, is it possible to desist and slacken and fall back? Yes.
Yes. I see. Okay.
But established as a irrevocable fact, it's never lost. That devotional service is never lost. It can be covered again. It's never lost. It's established as an irrevocable fact.
Thank you so much, Maharaj. I'm so grateful to you, Hare Krishna.
Okay. You mull it over, because you've been questions that linger don't go away so quickly like this. Something's going to come up again later. But wait a minute. But. It's okay.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, thank you so much. Maharaj, on the verse, the same verse, in the verse it's been mentioned Satvena, whereas in the translation Prabhupada writes pure goodness. So the Satvena and Prabhupada, it seems to me like Suddha Sattva and Sattva. That is the thing that is like, that is one question, and I have a follow-up, Maharaj.
Well, an acharya, Prabhupada is our acharya, and the acharya has the capacity and responsibility to illuminate. No, he did it in English. So Satvena can mean, in context, mean this. In context, it can mean that. So does it mean this or that? And our Acharya has given us, it's that. It's not the mode of goodness mixed with ignorance and passion. Not that one. It can mean Shuddha Sattva. It can mean that.
The reason I asked that question, because most of the verses, I mean, when Prabhupada gives translation and purport, we understand Prabhupada is giving the bhav behind the verse. But here, if he claims only pure, pure goodness, then I was thinking that I have no hope. So
No. Because he can take living entities, as we know, that are completely grossed out in the lower modes of nature and elevate them to goodness, and then from goodness to pure goodness. So there's hope.
So with the follow-up with that, so what my understanding now from your answer also to Prabhu, so even if the lower animals, they are not in the mode of goodness for sure, or,
That's right.
Yeah,
Those
but then eventually they will elevate.
Well, maybe. There's two things. There's what we do and there's what Krishna does. Relationship. So there's things that we need to do, but Krishna is so merciful, he can take, the bottom of the barrel. He can take Putana and deliver her to being an assistant Mother Jasoda.
Even Lord Ram delivered the monkeys and the squirrels, so I was just...
So like that.
Thank you so much, Maharaj. Thank you. Please come back soon.
And it's Leela. It's Leela. And what's the Leela all about? He's enjoying, that's one part, but in others he's elevating. And he does both.
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Don't hold the microphone so close.
Sure.
Okay, good.
In Bhagavad Gita, Krishna asked Arjuna, come to transcendental level.
He asked him what?
Come to transcendental level.
Yeah.
So while working for our livelihood, how to maintain? If we come to the temple, we are in kirtan, everything is nice. But when we are working, our consciousness is completely different.
Well, that's you. Doesn't have to be. But there's a means to get to the pure. It's just like her question. If you're not there, you follow the process. You follow the sadhana to get to the sadhya. Come to the temple more often. And then make your home a temple, and and et cetera, et cetera. So gradually. You want it all at once. Be patient.
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Haribol.
I wanted to ask, when you were talking about the Agasura pastime, you were saying, explaining the concept of Krishna's energy, arranging it and overriding his actual desire, saying that.
No, not overriding.
Okay.
Facilitating.
Thank you. Explaining that to someone, you said, these Hare Krishnas and their double speak, they're contradicting themselves. So how, if we're ever in a situation speaking to someone who is getting confused about our explanation of the Siddhanta, how could, especially this aspect of it, how can we, speak to them and explain it and prevent them from being offensive or...
Well, how to? It depends on you, depends on them, depends on the relationship, depends on circumstances. Depends how to. And depending upon those circumstances and the choices that you make, the responsibility, your responsibility is to represent the disciplic succession transparently. And then the outcome, they'll make some choices. They'll say yes or no or maybe. That's their choice. Your responsibility is to be tuned into, what level in their spiritual trajectory, where are they? And according to your estimation, Krishna gives some intelligence, what that is, and then you explain. And the result is up to him and up to the decisions that they make. They have a relationship with Krishna. You can't interfere. You can't impose it. You do the best you can. So you have to have some spiritual intelligence to answer a person that's doubting and doesn't seem to want to accept the explanation. Then you're one more time. Your responsibility is sound vibration. Represent the cyclic succession transparently, according to your intelligence of what the audience, the person or the situation can handle. And the result is in their hand, and it's up to Krishna to assist them. You're just the instrument as best you can.
Thank you, Maharaj.
I see a hand way in the back. Way in the back. We're going to take 2 more questions and then end.
Jai Maharaj, thank you so much for illuminating class. So in I think it's 34, text 34, at the end of that it talks about the bona fide representative and a good son of God.
Yeah.
So I guess my question is, are there other good sons of God?
Of course.
Nice.
Why are you asking that question?
Well, because I'm creating a, I go out on book distribution and down at every Sunday we go out and distribute books and chant down in Lower Greenville, and there are many Christians. So I'm creating a document, Christ and Krishna.
Good.
And so that in that way, in reading, there's just amazing similarities.
So amongst those who are, quote, Christian,
yes,
there are many that aren't Christian. Amongst those that are, prabhus or, fellows here and there, they can be very Christian.
Yes.
Like. So there's gradations of those who are Christian and not Christian. But there's certainly persons who are very pure. And what's the standard? So then, I'm sure you're capturing it in your document. What is that standard of being Christian? Cardinal Daniel Yo.
That's right. I have that.
And animals have no soul. Where's that in the Bible?
Right. Prabhupada drave that home.
But there are Christian theologians that said it. Christian theologians that said it. And so he's just repeating what a Christian theologian said, and he's a pope. And people follow the popes, some people anyway. So, what's a real Christian? What's a real good son of God? Yes. It's can come from any person, not just Christian background, any background, a good son of God. Yes. And therefore the language that Prabhupada chose. Okay, one more question.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, thank you so much.
We'll take 2 questions. You 2 are into dispute.
I might have already answered this just hearing you, but this has been on my mind for quite some time. We go out and distribute books and preach, and our endeavors are somewhat successful and sometimes not so successful.
Hold the microphone a little further away.
Not so successful. And we want to keep our sanity, as well as most optimally preach. So in this regard, it's incredibly bewildering to see so many people not be interested in not being interested in Krishna consciousness.
Don't be surprised.
And fair enough. But I want to make sense of this and again preach most optimally. So how much weight do we put in with like Bhagavad Gita 7:28, Yesham tu angata papam, gyanam punyakarmanam? The living entity, because of his pious activities in this life and in previous lifetimes, becomes free from the duality's illusion and takes to Krishna's service with determination. So it seems like, from my perspective, the people that stay long-term in Krishna consciousness, they seem to be people from a pious background of not only this life but previous lifetimes. But and you did mention previously to the question, or you answered regarding Putana, Krishna causeless mercy can do anything.
Yeah.
So how much weight do we put into that so that we can just...
Into what? What's the twist of that?
Well, if we're looking for people that...
Who are pious.
Are pious, and maybe focus a little more on them, maybe that's a more effective way. Of course, Lord Chaitanya gave it to all.
Well, let me respond this way.
And just to keep also sanity, like okay, I kind of know what's going on here. If I don't all the time, it gets a little rough. Yeah.
I don't see a problem. Like her question of there's no hope to come to the stage of pure devotional service because I'm so far away from that. I have taken up with enthusiasm reading Chasing Rhinos with the Swami. Shyamasundar and Malati were drug dealers. And he says it over and over again. It's not shameful. It's the past is the past. And he gave it up. And he gave it up because Prabhupada said to give it up. So he gave it up. And then how intimate, read the book. Intimate association. And purification, 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 purification. Purification. No, he's had medical problems, one could say perhaps because of his past bad activities, directly and indirectly. But who's eligible? No, so back to the fundamental part of your question, how much weight to put. Supposing the well is dry, some drops, and then more drops and more drops and more drops. It's never lost. So whatever it is that you're doing on Sankirtan as a representative of our founder Acharya and whoever else you understand you're representing, disciplic succession, you're an instrument. That's what you do. You act as, similar to his question, you act as best you can as an instrument, transparently. And you're increasing the accumulation of well-being, krita punya punya. And whatever's going to happen is going to happen. You just continue being the instrument. The result is up to Krishna. You just continue being, as best you can, suitable instrument according to time, place, circumstance. The intelligence that Krishna gives you how to conduct yourself as best you can, as transparently and as purely as you can. And hope for your purification so that you can become a better instrument. And Krishna can wield you as he chooses in a way that, yesterday is less and today is better and tomorrow is even better. Progressive. That's your purification and your ability to be an instrument, that's all. and it's up to Krishna. That's how much weight. And Krishna's going to send the whole spectrum. Last question.
Maharaj, thank you so much for your association and your beautiful realizations. I was curious when it says that Krishna incarnates in every species. Are we to take it like, like a grasshopper and a giraffe and all that?
I don't know. It says what it says.
Uh-huh.
Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Bhagavatam ki jai. Maharaj, I just want to, one more time, thank you so much for coming, taking the time to be here with us in Dallas.
Thank you for
Hare Krishna. Thank you for your college preaching here in Dallas and for inspiring the disciples and other devotees to spread Krishna consciousness in wonderful ways. And we pray that we will get the good fortune of your association more often and for longer periods of time, if Krishna desires and allows. Thank you so much. Anything's possible by the mercy of Krishna. So thank you so much again, Maharaj. Let's give Maharaj one more big Hari Bo. Hari Bo.